I must once again apologize for not gaming today. For not gaming. I don't know, I didn't even wake up late. I think, well, maybe I woke up a little bit late. Not that much later than yesterday, though. I think I woke up at the same time, but I was like much slower at getting out of bed. That was the thing. Waking up is only half the battle. Waking up is only half the battle. You have to also get out of bed, and that is the real problem. That is actually the real difficult part. Because, like, people wake up by accident all the time, right? Everyone has woken up in the middle of the night, right? You wake up by accident all the time. It's getting out of bed. Getting out of bed is the difficult part. Phone in bed is illegal. Well, it's not just phone in bed is illegal, but like, it wasn't very light out when I woke up today. Like, it was like raining and kind of cloudy. So, yeah. I just feel bad today. No! No! But yeah, this is also on me. Actually, no, it's not on me. It's on video games for being fun. It's on video games for being fun to play, and I continue playing them late into the night. That is the true problem. That is the true problem. But we have to all lock in. We have to all lock in because it's almost September, and September, I don't know. It's September. It's September. Even if you're not in school, it's lock-in time. See, we're gonna lock in with September music. Whoops, that was loud. That was loud. Hold on. That was booming in my ears. Hold on. Let me turn that up for the rest of you. It might still be too loud. Hold on. There we go. There we go. I took a second slap and still feel iffy. No! I don't know. One thing I do remember is that last night I had a dream that I was like gonna get potentially hired by the fanciest IKEA ever. Like, yeah, I don't know. I remember, like, in my dream, it was just like this, like, really elaborately decorated IKEA, and like it had like a concert venue in there for some reason. Like, I was going to go see like a Miku concert inside the IKEA, and then I was like walking around because I got lost, and someone was like, "What are your qualifications?" And then I was like, "Oh yeah, here's my resume." And then they were like, "Yeah, you know what? We might get an interview." That was my dream. That was my dream. But yes, good morning, now that I'm a whack. Good morning to Fake Crade, and Kuro, and Lich Chicken, and Neil, and Jake, and Zully, and Panis. Yeah. Not logging in for September, you cannot force me. I don't know, maybe this will change when I'm old. Maybe I'm just not old yet. But I feel like the beginning of September for me, maybe it's because I'm so accustomed to being in school that, like, you know, when the weather starts cooling down, my brain's just like, yeah, I need to lock in. Hey there, good morning, Ulyssia. And good morning, Iron Saint. Yeah, like, September starts, and my brain's like, nope, it's lock-in time. It's lock-in time, because, I don't know, I guess it's just, like, whatever the mental version of muscle memory is, you know? Like, we are, like, again, we're close to the beginning of school, so my brain is just still in school mode. But maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just not old yet. Or maybe I haven't been out of school for long enough. Like, it's only been a couple years, I think. Like, yeah, I only graduated 2 years ago. I only graduated 2 years ago, so maybe I need to be out for longer. But yes. Good morning, Baxter Crook. But yeah, no, I think, I don't know. But then again, maybe that's also like, because like, I know school doesn't start in September everywhere in the world, right? Like here, school usually starts right after Labor Day. Like it's starting here, like both universities and colleges and also like elementary high schools, they all start like the Monday after Labor Day. Or sorry, the Tuesday after Labor Day. So they're starting up like next Tuesday. still get a twinge of anxiety seeing back to school adverts. To be fair, they start those things really early. I don't know what, like... I remember last year, it was like, okay, so... At one point in the summer, I was like, I should swim more often, and I realized I didn't really have a swimsuit that fit me. And then the problem I ran into with that as well was just like... So, by the time you get to, like, the end of July... Every store's trying to get its back to school stuff in, so I just remember having so much trouble for having, like, the audacity to want to buy a bathing suit in the summer. Like, it's like, no, if you wanted a bathing suit, the real time to shop for that was April. And it's like, what? And even then, this year in April, I bought a swimsuit. Like, I bought it around Easter. But, like...
Can EGGY wing in 3D?
No, I don't think so. I don't have the eyes set separately because I hate when it does the thing where like one eye lags and the other one doesn't, so your blinking is out of sync. So I have the eyes. The eyes are synchronized. I have them synchronized. Yeah. But no, it's like, no, the current time, the best time to do it was April. But it's like, no, it's not even April. It was probably actually March because like I bought a swimsuit in April this year and it was on off the clearance rack. So either it was like stock from a previous year or like somehow... we, like, exhausted our supply of swimsuits before the snow even melted. I mean, I guess maybe there's people who go on vacation for March break. But, like, surely there can't be, like, that many people doing that, right? Like, there can't be, like... Like, not enough to make it worth selling swimsuits that early. I mean, I don't know. I guess people do swim year-round. Like, there's indoor pools and stuff. I, for one, intend to continue going to Aquafit, like, even once the weather gets colder. If anything, Aquafit is kind of a fun thing, because I started doing Aquafit back in, like, January, and it's kind of a convenient thing if you want to, like, be in the water, even in the winter. Because I remember, like, the most inconvenient part of swimming for me was, like, the fact that your hair is wet at the end, and then you have to, like, leave the pool and go back outside, and, like, you have wet hair, or it's, like, damp because you, like, dried it, but it's not, like, completely dry yet. But yeah, no, in Aquafit, your hair doesn't get that wet at all, pretty much. So, yeah. And then, I know my gym has, like, a sauna. I remember when I would go to Aquafit in January, I'd just spend, like, a couple minutes in the sauna afterwards, so that, like, it's not like I'm, like, leaving the cold pool to go into the cold air. I mean... the cold air is gonna be unpleasant regardless, but, you know. Might as well not make it more unpleasant. Yeah, like how shopping for Christmas food is done right after Halloween. Yeah. Oh my god, okay. In about 1 week, I think I'm gonna start seeing Halloween stuff. I'm gonna give it, well, okay. Actually, maybe not quite. The thing with Canada is that our Thanksgiving is in October, right? So I feel like we don't always jump straight to Halloween because we have like another thing in between. But on the other hand, we also have the issue of like the moment Halloween is over, it's immediately Christmas. Like there's no buffer there. There's like nothing in between. Yeah. I've already seen Halloween stuff. Yeah, I mean, I've already had thoughts about... I mean, okay. I've had thoughts about Halloween costume, but I don't have any plans yet. And I've had thoughts about stuff I want to do for Halloween. Like, I want to release a cover. There was a cover I wanted to release last year that I recorded, but, like, I wasn't pleased with the results. So I'm thinking of probably re-recording it and releasing it this year, since... I don't know, last year there was just, like, a lot going on at the time. But, yeah. But then again, when you're planning things, that's a little different, right? Like, I think if you're, like, planning stuff for Halloween, it's okay to, like, think about it in advance. But, yeah. I went outside with wet hair once and it froze. I feel like that happened to me as a kid. I don't think it's happened a lot as an adult, but I've definitely done that. I don't know what Aquafit looks like, but I'm picturing, like, an Esther Williams synchronized swim musical. Aquafit, I don't know. To me, it feels more... It's basically just like an aerobics class. Like, a typical aerobics class where the instructor tells you what to do and there's music playing. But I think that obviously the key difference is that you're in a shallow pool. There's actually two kinds of Aquafit. The place I go to only offers one. But there's like what they call like shallow Aquafit and deep Aquafit. Shallow Aquafit is in a shallow pool. where the water's like, for me the water's up to my shoulders. For other people the water goes is not up to their shoulders, but for me it is up to my shoulders. But then you also have like deep aquafit, which is in like a deeper pool, and usually people will have like pool noodles. They're like, obviously they're for the same goal, but like the exercises and the movements obviously are different because there's things you can do when you are able to touch the ground that you can't do if you are not, like, and vice versa, right? So, yeah. Yeah, I saw Halloween candy already is like, this is gonna last too much on shelf, but it's basically 99% preservatives. Well, like, I don't know. I know that, like, me and my sister, like, my parents are kind of strict about the candy consumption after Halloween. Because I remember, like, a lot of years we'd have to throw away a pretty significant part of the candy. Because, like, we would get it end of October, right? We'd eat it throughout November, like, bit by bit. But then, like, by the time Christmas rolls around, it's like, okay, we got candy canes and cookies and such. So, it's like, some years we'd have Halloween candy in January, at which point my parents would just be like, you know what, this has gone on long enough. Like, yeah, I love this song. Thank you. I tried to pick like a school themed playlist to fit this. But yeah. Oh boy, we're gonna have to think about Thanksgiving soon. Soon the trees will be orange. Oh boy, orange. I don't know, some trees. There's a tree near the gym where I go that is like, you know when you have those trees that were planted in the shadow of like 3 different apartment buildings? So like the tree barely gets any light. So like it will be like mid-August and the tree is like, I'm not seeing much sunlight lately. Must be fall. And then it starts turning orange like a month before every other tree. Like, I hate when that happens. These hasty trees. Shouldn't be allowed. I'm probably not gonna get a costume this year. I'm not going anywhere doing anything. I don't know what my plans are for the actual Halloween evening. Because like last year, like the area I'm in doesn't really get trick-or-treaters that go door to door. Like last year, I think, I didn't see any trick-or-treaters at all. Like it's not even that none of them came to our house. It's that like when I was like walking around, I would not see anybody in costume outside. And I went to, like I had passed by the mall on Halloween last year. And like there were some people that were dressed up there because they had like the mall Halloween kind of thing. But yeah, no, we don't get trick-or-treaters. Or at least we didn't last year. Maybe it'll be different other years, but I've gotten 0 trick-or-treaters in the last 4 years. I don't know. I think, my parents still would get trick-or-treaters. Like, when I was living with my parents, we'd always get trick-or-treaters, but also my parents live in, like it's a denser neighborhood, like, right? It's like a neighborhood with, like, townhouses. So I imagine that if you're trying to go for, like, the most doors possible, it's probably a good neighborhood for doing that. But the other thing, too, is that I found the trick-or-treaters came really early. Because in that neighborhood, a lot of the people who have kids are, like, the kids are, like, really little. Like, they're, like, 5 and under, right? So a lot of them would be coming by like before the sun was even down because, again, they're like, this is a 3-year-olds, they go to bed at like 8 p.m. Like, yeah, a lot of them were pretty young, so they all came by early. But I don't know. I know apparently too, like, some neighborhoods just attract more, like, people really try to, like, maximize their trick-or-treating, and they try to, like, drive to other neighborhoods to try to find, like, where the best trick-or-treating is, which to me is nonsense, because I'm just like, why the hell I got Lego Christmas ads in August? In August? Okay, you know, maybe I was too harsh on people who were, like, talking about Halloween. Maybe I was underestimating how ahead of themselves they're getting. I was like, it's a little early to be thinking about Halloween, and then I guess they're just like, you know what? August. Christmas. There is absolutely no other holidays in between. Also, 3D egg looks good. Thank you. Again, I can't use every Warudo environment because some of the environments are heavier than others, but the classroom one works. I'm like kind of testing them one at a time. The classroom one works. The garden one I used yesterday seemed to work okay. Is your left arm on? Yes, this is just the posing. This is just the posing. I didn't want to go with the default posing because I was like, that's boring and it's gonna look low effort, but I didn't really know what else to go with. It looks broken. It's supposed to be arm on hip. I think maybe my hip just isn't big enough for Wadodo to notice. Unfortunately, with these poses, I don't think you can really customize it the same way. Because again, it's like preset poses, right? And I do like the preset poses. Like, I really like how it turned out, because like, it was a preset pose, but like the way that my body was kind of bobbing, it looked kind of natural, right? So, yeah. I saw Christmas sweets in stores yesterday. Oh, wait, hold on, Defins, you're in Europe, right? Maybe it's different. Because I know not everybody does Halloween everywhere, and I know Europeans don't really have Thanksgiving. So yeah, I guess maybe that sort of makes sense, because there really is no holiday between now and December, right? Good morning, Ryan the Space God. Germany, yeah. Yeah, I don't know, because like, do you guys do Halloween? Because like, I know Halloween is like definitely like a North American thing, and I think it's a thing in the UK, question mark? And some other countries too, but a lot of the other countries that celebrate it are ones that like adopted it from like North America and Europe, right? Or I guess the UK. But yeah. Oktoberfest, but I've been told that's mostly a tourist trap now. Is it like an actual holiday, or is it just like a thing that tends to happen? Like, it gets used as a reason for parties. That's fair. I mean, that's kind of what it is here too. Because like when you're a kid, you go trick-or-treating. But like when you're a grown-up, yeah, it's usually just like, what if we just had a regular party, except that you now have to wear a silly outfit? It's just a normal festival, but big. Understandable, okay. But it's not like an actual, like, holiday. Okay. I don't know, because, like, again, it's only a southern Germany thing. Oh, really? Okay. All I know about Oktoberfest is that people drink a lot of beer, and I'm sure there's probably, like, more to it than that. That's all I know, is that it is where people go to drink beer. It is the beer celebration. But yeah, here we have our Volksfest in late summer. I mean, is it like a climate thing? Is it like how like Canadian Thanksgiving is like a month before? It's because presumably because in Canada, if you want to have like nice fall weather, then you better have it in October and not November, because everything is like dead by November. It's like to celebrate some noble wedding centuries ago. Ah, okay. But yeah, it's... I lost my train of thought. I lost my train of thought. Derailed by Oktoberfest. The church-based ones are to celebrate the founding of a church. Okay. Oktoberfest is just a really big fair in Munich, and it's in September. Oh, okay. But yeah, like that's the closest thing you have to a holiday in the second half of the year. I mean, to be fair, I guess a lot of our holidays are a little backloaded when it comes to the end of the year. Because you got like 3 in like within the span of like the last 4 months, right? And then there's like, I don't know, there's like there's kind of like this dead space between January and April. Because like, I mean, I guess like until Easter, basically. Because like there are holidays, like there's statutory holidays, but those aren't like, you know, holidays. And there's also like non-statutory holidays like Valentine's Day or St. Patrick's Day. But like, I feel like there is kind of like that dead space between like January and April. And then, like, then you get Easter, and then it's like, okay. Yeah. It's because there isn't a ton to do during late fall, early winter. You know what? That's fair, actually. That's fair. I don't know, but sometimes I wish, like... like, I know historically, like, Christmas is also supposed to be, like, a winter festival. But, like, I don't know. I think the thing is that, like, I think Christmas falls annoyingly early. Maybe it's just because, like, I've lived in places that have really long winters, but I feel a lot of the time it's, like, Christmas is, like, almost at the beginning of winter, right? Like, it gets cold in December, but not, like, that cold. Like, January, February is when the real miserable times are, right? And I'm just, like, I feel like that makes them that much worse, because it's, like, December, you're like, yay, yippee, weather is cold, but not too cold, and there's Christmas lights up, and like, you know, things are nice and happy. And then, like, you get to January, and it's like, ugh. Especially since, okay, it's still dark, it's still cold. If anything, it's colder. But now, for some reason, we've all decided to take our Christmas lights down. I think everybody should leave their Christmas lights up until, like, at least March. Like, at least until, like, the days start getting longer. Because, like, January and February are so miserable. And it's because it's like, okay, it's still dark and we don't even have Christmas lights up. Like, yeah, just because it starts in like August, I didn't consider that it isn't summer. I mean, summer technically lasts until like September 20th or something, right? Hello, friend. Hello, baby. This is what dictators and popes say before they start changing the calendar. Like, actually, January is now December. We're just gonna shift everything up 1 month. Yeah, I think it's why the US adopted St. Patrick's Day, reason to drink in March. That's fair. I mean, I guess, again, we also have Valentine's Day, and I guess, well, no, Mother's Day and Father's Day fall after Easter. Yeah, like, because, like, let's do the EGGY holiday in January, February. Should have put my birthday there. Should have put my birthday there. Should have put my Chuba birthday there. I mean, to be fair, I put my Chuba birthday in May. Not intentionally, but, like, it ended up being, like, I'm okay with having my birthday when it is, because it's, like, exactly 6 months from my streaming anniversary, which I realize I probably should do something for that, too. But it's, yeah. Because oh god, what streaming anniversary is it going to be this year? Because I started in 2020. Okay, it's oh, thank god. Okay, it's gonna be my 4th year streaming anniversary this year. I got panicked for a second because I thought it was gonna be 5 years, and I'm like, oh god, that's a big number. But then I realized, okay, it's like, no. The debut was November of 2021. We're safe. Yeah, most holidays get adopted in the US because a small group celebrated it and companies can merchandise it. Yeah, especially if it's like an excuse to have a party where people get together. Especially if it's something I think that involves food and drink, I think. I feel like those are the easiest ones to adopt. I, for one, am okay with everybody adopting, like... I don't know, in the past 2 years it seems everyone's adopted Chinese New Year. Or like Lunar New Year. And I'm like, you know what, I'm kind of okay with that. I'm okay with that. Yeah. Half a decade of egg. Not quite. It's gonna be 4 years. I mean, okay, it depends, because usually when I've been doing the anniversary, I've been doing the anniversary since my proper debut, right? Because, like, I streamed for, like, you know, most of 2021, but, like, I didn't properly debut. Like, I didn't debut with, like, a custom model until November. So, usually that's when I consider my actual debut date. Like, everything before that was just, like, practice and preamble, you know? That's when I consider. So technically it's been 5 years, but, like, actually speaking, like, I officially speaking, it's been 4. It's been 4. Yeah, a cool reminder that the 4 seasons are a European categorization. Different regions experience those times of the year differently and have different seasons for them, not just one-to-one conversion. Yeah, I know. Isn't, like, Australia is, like, the other way around. India has 6 seasons or 3, depending how you look at it. I mean, everybody makes a joke of that Canada only has 2 seasons. It's, like, winter and construction. Doesn't it have to involve food? I remember, like, 2 years ago, everyone found out about Juneteenth, a local holiday in Texas to celebrate the last area to be liberated from slavery. And the whole country adopted it, and not 2 days later, Walmart had happy Juneteenth cakes for sale. Okay, to be fair, cakes are, like, the easiest thing, right? cakes are like the easiest thing to put together on short notice if you're trying to sell something for a holiday you just found out about 2 days ago. Like, cakes are like... Because the cake is gonna be made anyway, right? So all you gotta do is change, you know, maybe switch up some colors and change what's written on it. I don't know. Part of me is like, what if for like my 5th anniversary, like my 5th streaming anniversary, I got like a cake for it? Like an eggy cake? And I would get like something custom written on it. But then I'm just like, I don't know what to do with a whole cake. I'm not gonna eat a whole cake. I don't know enough people to share a cake with like... Unfortunately, no one's figured out how to share food digitally yet, so I can't even be like, I'm gonna get a cake for the eggplants. We can't share it. We can't share it. We haven't figured out how to do that yet. Throw a party at home. With who? Do I know enough people to, like, split a cake and not have, like, half of it still left over? Like, how would I bake a cake? What, like Eggy baking stream? I guess if you bake a cake, you can make it as big or small as you need. But, like, I don't know. I don't know, because the thing is, it's not just about baking the cake, it's about icing the cake. That's actually the hard part. Like, baking a cake is not that difficult, but, like, making it look nice is the hard part. Grandma will eat some? Yeah, but, like, that's 2 of us. Maybe if I have, like, 1 friend, that's 3. I'm not gonna eat a whole third of a cake. I'm not doing that. But on the other hand, I don't know. I remember when I worked at Office. Because, like, okay, when I was working at Office, right? There was, like, I don't know, maybe like 100 people between, like, all the departments and, like, everybody in the building, plus, like, you know, people who were, you know, were doing, like, maintenance and stuff, right? Like, between everybody working there who was hired by the company and that location, there was maybe like 100 of us, which meant that, like, you know, there's like 365 days in a year. There's gonna be, statistically speaking, like a birthday once every few days, right? And yeah, there was just like a lot of cake. Sometimes they would try to like merge the birthdays. So if you had like a few people in the same department who had like birthdays close to each other, they would be like, happy birthday to like these 2 people. Like they would try to merge them together. But still, there was a lot of grocery store cake, is what I'm saying. There was a lot of cake. Just put less sugar, it's not that crazy. Well, okay, well, isn't it for cakes you have to have a certain amount of sugar? Because, like, if you want a fluffy cake, it's like, well, maybe that's more of an egg thing. Because, like, I know that sugar, again, I am not a scientist, but I know that, like, sugar has a purpose in baking outside of just like flavor. Like, it has like an actual chemical, like it does something. Like in the same way that like you can't make meringue without a certain amount of sugar, because otherwise it's just like not gonna form peaks. Do you want a fluffy cake or do you want something you can eat? Are you implying that a fluffy cake cannot be eaten? Is it like, I don't know. I feel like what I keep having in mind is like default grocery store cake, which is usually kind of leans on the fluffier side. I don't know. I guess there's other kinds of cakes I could make. Part of me kind of wants to try making a crepes cake. Like, you know those like layer crepe cakes? Where it's basically just like a dozen crepes stacked on top of each other with like a layer of like some kind of like cream in the middle. Those are pretty tasty. They're pretty time-consuming to make. Like, I remember every time I see them in a bakery, they're always, like, super expensive, and nobody buys them. But, like, if you know what it involves, you understand why they are expensive. Because, again, this is technically just, like, a stack of, like, a dozen crepes on top of each other, right? Like, somebody had to make a dozen crepes and stack them on top of each other. Like, that's... The labor involved is a little more than just what it would be for, like, a cheesecake or something, right? I don't know. But then again, maybe a crepe cake would be thematically appropriate for a EGGY. I wonder what kind of like cream filling flavor would be good for that. Maybe like something floral? Or maybe... You can't really do it with custard. It has to be like some kind of whipped thing. Like you can't, because if it was with custard, it's gonna be too slimy. Yeah. I should not be listening to this while eating my lentils. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, sugar and cake helps retain moisture and probably structure. Yeah, I know it has some kind of... Like, there's a reason why, like, if you're trying to make a cake that's, like, sugar-free, it's hard to do. Like, you have to find something... You have to, like, substitute a bunch of things. Yeah. Pistachio cream? Maybe? I guess color-wise that could work. Because I was trying to think of, like, flavors that are yellow, and the best I could come up with was butterscotch. But, like, I'm not really big on butterscotch. I'm not big on butterscotch or caramel. I'm sorry, Toriel. I'm not big on butterscotch or caramel. I'm not big on either. Oh, wait, no, it was butterscotch cinnamon. Sorry. No, cinnamon is fine. Cinnamon is fine. But I'm trying to think of, like, the flavors of cake, because usually when I've, like, gone places that... Oh! You know what? I could probably make it matcha. I could probably do matcha. Because I know I've been to places that would have, like, they would have, like, the crepe cake with, like, a matcha cream filling. Like, basically, I'm assuming it's just, like, whipped cream with matcha mixed in. But that can be good. That can be good. I could make it with matcha. That might be good. And then, I don't know, put, like, a little flower on top. So it is egg. Yeah, okay, that could be cute. That could be cute. White girls and matcha lately. I'm sorry for, like, I've been drinking... I don't know, why is that considered like a micro trend now? Like, has every coffee shop here not been serving it for the past, like, decade? I absolutely remember getting a matcha frappuccino from Starbucks in like 2014. And this was like a Starbucks in like a super like white people area. This wasn't like catering to local demand. Like, I'm trying to think, like, when did... I mean, to be fair, at the time, they called it a green tea frappuccino, so, like, they didn't call it a matcha, because I guess maybe they didn't think people would know the word matcha. But, like, no, they definitely had it. They absolutely had it. I definitely remember, I remember eating it at eating? Drinking? I don't know. What do you do with a frappuccino, guys? What do you do with a frappuccino? Is that something you eat or something you drink? I guess it's kind of both. Like, I remember the last time I had a frappuccino, they gave me a paper straw, and I think the problem is, like, I don't actually mind paper straws. That's like my hot take, is I don't mind paper straws, but not for thick things. So, like, if you're gonna give me, like, a frappuccino or a milkshake or something, don't give it to me with a paper straw, because, it's... Like, okay, paper straws are fine if it's a thin liquid. If it's like soda or water or something, that's fine. But like, if it's something that's gonna like become undrinkable once the straw starts to disintegrate because it's so thick, then that's gonna become a problem. You partake, you consume. Because like, I think the last time I had a frappuccino, they gave me a paper straw. I drank it for a couple minutes. The paper straw basically disintegrated. And then, I literally couldn't drink it. I had to, like, take it home and eat it with a spoon. Like... Yeah. Become undrinkable. It's just fluffy coffee, right? I guess it's more like... It's almost more like... I've seen people describe it as a milkshake. I don't think it's quite that thick. But yeah, it's more of like a blended... Think of it less as like a fluffy coffee and more as like a milkshake with a shot of espresso poured in kind of thing. Yeah. Hi, can I get 4 venti vanilla beans with caramel walls and extra whip and extra caramel crunch? Can you please split them into tall cups? I've never worked at Starbucks, okay? I've worked at other coffee shop, but not at Starbucks. If anything, working at other coffee shop was kind of annoying because it was a coffee shop that it was not Starbucks and it was not Tim Hortons, which are like the two coffee chains that people are like most familiar with. But then they would come into our shop and like they wouldn't be familiar with the menu, so they would try to like order things that were either from Starbucks or from Tim Hortons. So they'd be like, "Do you guys have like ice caps?" And like we had something that was like a sort of like an ice cap, but it was much more expensive. And then people would be like, that's expensive. And it's like, okay, if you want ice caps for the typical ice cap price, that like we are in a mall, like Tim Hortons is just upstairs. You can go there. Or people would also order double doubles, but like I guess that's normal. That's normal. Like that's just like 2 cream, 2 sugar, right? Like we can do that. But yeah, people would try to order like frappuccinos, which again, we had like a frappuccino type drink, like, you know, like blended sweet thing with some coffee in it. But again, we didn't have as big of a variety, right? So people would order, they'd be like, can I get like a... They would order it in flavors that don't exist for us, and we're like, like, I guess we can sort of improvise them. But yeah. In northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin, we have a dairy company called Oberweis. It's amazing that they make milkshakes that are so thick, if you try to use a straw, you'll sooner suck your teeth through the straw than get a milkshake. Spoon is required. At that point, isn't that just soft serve? I feel like that would just become soft serve at that point, wouldn't it? Chains have ruined society. Well, I don't think it's just chains. I mean, to be fair, I think I've also overestimated, like, how much people know about coffee. Because, like, I've definitely, like... Because, like, again, most people my age know what a latte is. But then, like, I've talked to some older people and, like, you know, I know the whole, like, boomer joke of, like, what is all this? I just want a coffee. But, like, the fact that, like, some people will look at, like, a menu and they'll be like, I don't know what half of these things are, is like, oh, yeah, I guess that's, like, a reality for more people than I thought. Because in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I know what a latte is. I know what a cappuccino is. Even before I worked in a coffee shop, I knew, like, what a latte and a cappuccino was. Or, like, I knew what mocha was. Like, I guess that's kind of the thing with chains, though, is that, like, if you're like familiar with one place's drinks, you can be like, yeah. Did Canadian chains change the name of the Americano coffee drink when they got mad at us? Is it Canada? No, I think it's still Americano. I don't know. I think they get away with it because it's an Italian word. Well, isn't Americano, I was told, was actually invented in Italy because there was like Americans who would go to Italian coffee shops and then complain that like the espresso was too strong, so they would like water it down for them, and like that's why they call it Americano. Because it's like, it's like, yeah, it's just watered down coffee. Like, it's a watered down shot of espresso. That's how the story goes. Yeah, so I guess if it's a name that was supposed to make fun of Americans, I think maybe that's why they get away with it. Yeah. I still don't understand how Americano is different from regular coffee. I think it's like, because like a regular coffee is like drip coffee, right? So it's like, this is like a less condensed form of coffee that's being like made with a certain amount of water, right? As opposed to an Americano, where it's like a very condensed form of coffee that's like then watered down. I imagine also a lot of coffee places probably use different kinds of beans for their drip coffee versus espresso. So I imagine that probably has something to do with it as well. It's probably differences in the flavor. Although you're right, sometimes I do sometimes get orders where it's like, hey, can I get an Americano with milk? And it's like, a coffee? Isn't that just like coffee? Like, if you do enough things to it, does it not just become coffee? Although, actually, okay. When I did work at coffee, though, one of the things we did do was, because they would stop making decaf coffee in the second half of the day, because, like, we just didn't sell that much decaf coffee, so they wouldn't make as much of it. So if it was like after like 2 in the afternoon and somebody ordered a decaf coffee, we would just make a decaf Americano, because we had like the espresso, like we had the decaf espresso available the whole day, so we would just make it that way. America's when you don't have a coffee machine, only an espresso machine? I guess, yeah. I guess pretty much. But how many people are in that situation? I feel like I don't know anybody who has, like, an espresso machine but no coffee machine. I feel like usually it goes the other way around, doesn't it? What is decaf espresso? It's espresso with no caffeine. It's the same thing as decaf coffee, but it's espresso. Yeah, that's kind of antithetical to the point of espresso. I don't know. Sometimes people, I mean, there's all sorts of reasons people don't drink caffeine, right? Like if you're somebody who has, like, I don't know, some kind of like health condition that makes you unable to have caffeine and you still want to have a latte, then it's like, yeah, you should be allowed to do that. There should be a way for you to do that. Hello 3D Eggy. Hello, I can't even say 2D Remy. Like, your words on a screen. You're in the words dimension. Espresso, croissant, cigarette. I'm not a coffee maybe I don't drink decaf because... What? Well, like, I don't know. Some people like the taste. Some people like the taste of coffee. Like, not everybody drinks coffee as, like, a purely functional thing. I can see how some people would like the taste of coffee, but then they just, like, have issues with caffeine for whatever reason. And they... Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you want the coffee flavor without the shaky. Yeah. It's like... Maple decided not to put you on the Oregon Trail last night. Chat suggestion, it is for the best graves everywhere. Oh yeah, I've never played Oregon Trail. I feel like Oregon Trail is definitely, like, because they had it in schools, right? But it's more of like an American thing. I don't think we had, like, I mean, I guess they sold it here, but, like, it wasn't like I guess there was no Canadian version of it. I did have Cuban espresso once. I thought my heart was gonna explode. Yeah, I'm trying to think of, like... I don't think I've ever had, like, a super adverse immediate reaction to caffeine. I don't know. I'm not sure what caffeine does anymore. I don't know. Because, like... I used to be like, okay, caffeine doesn't do anything. And then now I'm like, okay, maybe caffeine does something and maybe I just wasn't tired enough. But then, I don't know, when I drink caffeine when I'm tired, I feel like there's only like, there's like a 40-60 chance of whether it's gonna do anything. Like, there's like a pretty 60% chance that I'm gonna still be tired and like a 40% chance that it might work. Ever tried Turkish coffee? No, but I do know of a place that I've been to before that serves it. I just didn't order Turkish coffee. I just didn't order the coffee. Do you have ADHD? Probably, maybe. At this point, there's no point in finding out, honestly. Like, I've heard Viet coffee is intense. Oh, well, actually, okay, once I actually did have the, remember that, like, egg white coffee that was, like, really popular in, like, 2020? My sister made that once, and it was pretty good. It wasn't as sweet as I thought it was gonna be, but also, I don't know, I guess I was expecting it to be more dessert. Yeah. Study has shown caffeine has a considerably less effect on ADHD people. Well, the thing is, okay, I feel like it's like... It's not that it doesn't work, it's just that, like, it works inconsistently. Like, I can drink tea and, like... I remember when I was in school, I would be like, okay, caffeine is supposed to wake you up, and I need to finish this assignment, and it's getting late, so I'm gonna drink tea so I can stay awake. And then I would drink tea, and it would be like, you know, pleasant and warm and calming, and then I would get sleepy, and I'd be like, oh no! That was not the effect it was supposed to have. Like, I feel like it's arbitrary to me. It's arbitrary. I'm spinning a wheel every time I drink something. Like, I don't know, I guess I've been having energy drinks, and like, they work a little more consistently than tea and coffee. And I know there is a limit. There is a limit. I think the thing is just that, like, I feel like it doesn't always... I feel like it becomes more of like a physical versus mental thing. Because I feel like sometimes with caffeine that, like, people drink it to be more alert, right? And I feel like it like bypasses the part of my brain that does the brain stuff and it skips straight to like the body effects. So like there's been times where I've like had an energy drink and I have lots of like physical energy where it's like, yeah, I could go running right now and I would be able to come back and, you know, like I'd be able to, you know, pull an Uma Musume and like run a race and then sing a concert. Like energy wise I can do that, but like if you ask me to focus on something, I could not do that. So it's like one of those things where it's like, okay, it's like I have the physical energy but not the mental energy, but unfortunately the mental energy is what I need. The mental energy is usually what I need. Like I am, especially when I was working, it's like I'm doing a thinky job. I am doing a thinky job that uses computers in my brain, and I that's where I need the energy, not in my legs. I got a little bit because of the autism, and my friend got good at math and science, so I got the expensive hobby autism, Warhammer anime figures books. I don't know. I think I have whatever disease makes you have a messy room. That's the one I have. But I don't know. I think maybe it's not necessarily that. I think it's more just like being disorganized is like being disorganized and using Twitter a lot. I guess is just like the only things that I haven't figured out how to work around. Because like most other things, I feel like I've figured out how to like work around. Like I don't think like I wasn't like the best student. Like I wasn't the best student in university, but like I passed my classes, right? Like I wasn't failing anything. Like my grades were like, you know, B's and C's, but like again, it's C's get degrees, right? I wasn't trying to make it into grad school or anything. But yeah, I feel like clutter and spending too much time on Twitter are just like the two things that I could not. Clutter queen syndrome. Exactly. Like again, when I was in school, when I was a kid, I feel like every year, every teacher was like, they were determined to be the one who would fix me. Like they were like, okay, she's known for being like good at, because I was like good at school. Like I was well behaved and I was like, you know, I could get good grades and I liked reading and writing and like, but I was just really, really messy. Like my desk would be like just shoved to the brim with paper, right? And every year, every teacher was like, okay, I can do this. I can fix her. And all of them failed. Every single one of them. Every single one of them. I think the thing is just that, like, they were all taking the same approach. And I guess they all thought, like, okay, maybe the other teacher just, like, didn't try hard enough. But the problem is that if you're all trying the same approach, then, like, if it didn't work the first time, I don't think it's gonna work the second or third or fourth times, you know? Like... Yeah, my issue is I have negative motivation. Yeah, I guess that's like an issue right now, but I feel like that wasn't really an issue until like after university. But yeah, I was a good student, made Dean's List. Yeah, I mean, maybe I could have done a bit better because I feel like it was definitely like the semester of online school that absolutely like did me in. I feel like I probably could have done better if I had been like in person the whole time, like if it was like normal circumstances. I probably would have done much better, but we're speculating about a past that cannot exist, right? I know you have a little sister. Do you have the same problem when you reach your teacher's level, or are they like, thank God, the put together student? Oh, my sister can also be kind of cluttered, but like she's definitely not as bad as I am, I think. I think my sister is like more organized than me in like every possible aspect. Like both in terms of like physically like her room, but also like, you know, keeping her stuff together and keeping track of time and stuff. I think she's better than me at that. She's much better than me at that. But yeah, no, it's still a problem to this day. I don't know, then again, maybe I just have like insanely high standards for myself because my parents are very, very clean and organized people. So like, maybe that's just like, sometimes it's nice to visit other people's houses when the house is a bit messy. Not like disgusting or anything, but like when it's a bit messy, because then I can be like, okay, this is normal. People live here. When people live in a house, the house will not remain pristine. Like, I guess my parents, like, they tend to have a lot of people over, which meant that, like, our house was always in, like, our house is often clean enough to be, like, an IKEA showroom. It's probably cleaner than an IKEA showroom when I live with my parents. So, like, that's the standard I got used to. That's the standard of cleanliness that I was like, oh, this is what everybody else is doing, and I'm just, like, the one person failing. And then I go visit other people's houses, and I'm like, oh, no. I'm more normal than I thought. It's just, like, I'm trying to meet a very high standard. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a friend of mine was known as the messiest child in his family growing up. I saw his room. It's cleaner than anyone's in my family. Yeah, exactly. Or even like, okay, again, sometimes there's things where I'm just like, please just let me be. Like, okay, so I have this like bag hanging off my doorknob that is currently, I should probably, again, I will need to empty it out, but I'll get to that. It's like, I've been using it for recycling. Because like if I have like, you know, a box, like if I order something online and it comes in a box, usually I break down the box and put it in there, or if I drink like a can of something, then I put the can in there to recycle it. And I don't know, I just remember the last time my parents visited, my dad's like, why don't you empty it out? Because he saw that it was like partway full, and I'm just like, well, I'm just like, I don't know how to explain to you that like the alternative to having this bag full of cans hanging off the doorknob was to have a bunch of cans sitting around on the table. Like before these were in the bag, they were sitting around the room. They were on the tables and floor. Like do you separate your trash into light and dark materials? No, but I separate it into, at least into recycling and garbage. Like, I separate it into, I separate those. Yeah. My sister was very put together in school. I was not my teacher. I had such high hopes for me. See, I mean, I feel like I cannot speak to this because I was the oldest. I was the standard. Up now to the point that one teacher told me I wouldn't be okay, that's a little harsh, but again, I'm just like, I was the standard. I was the first one. My sister was definitely better at it, at most things than me, but like, again, I was the standard. So she was, I met the standard, I set the standard, and then she like surpassed all of them. But yeah, no, it's like, I don't know. Please just let me be cleaner than I was before. I was like, let me be cleaner than I was before. I was yeah. I don't know. I was in second grade. I don't know why they bullied me. Okay, in second grade, that's even more insane. Like I feel like that's a little early on to make these kinds, even harshness aside, I feel like it's kind of early on to make those kinds of judgments, right? I don't know, maybe some teachers are under the impression that like if you're mean to children early on, that will like motivate them to change, but like I don't know. I was under the impression that people can only become what you tell them they are. So like if you tell your child that they are terrible and will become nothing, that's not gonna like motivate them to do anything. That's just gonna make them be like, okay, I guess I'm gonna become nothing, and then they'll become nothing. Like that was the impression I was under. I don't know why some people think otherwise. Yeah, I want to meet them now as an adult because I can talk back now. I don't know, how old were they? They're probably like at least retired. I don't know how old my like elementary school teachers are. Like, I don't know, there was my kindergarten teacher, I don't remember how old she was. But I know that, like, I was still a kid when she retired. Like, I think she retired, like, maybe, like, 5 years. So if we assume that she was, like, 65 at the time, she's got to be at least 80 now, right? She's got to be at least 80 years old. Like, I don't know how old... Yeah, I don't know how old she was at the time, though. Because, like, at the time I thought she was old, but, like, also I was, like, 5. So, like, I don't know how old people were supposed to be, right? I don't know how old, like, I don't know what a 50-year-old looks like. But, like, I know she taught kindergarten for, like, basically her whole career. Yeah, my elementary school years were wild. In 4th grade, a teacher drew a desk at a student. I don't think I ever had something like that. I'm trying to think if like I don't think I ever had like any like bad teachers, at least not as like a main, especially not in elementary. Okay, actually no, there was one teacher, I don't know, she wasn't like evil, but like she was mean. She was just like really mean. Like she taught kindergarten for a while, and like she would just like take away parts of kids' lunches if she didn't think they were healthy. Like I definitely remember like cases where like the parent would pack their kid like, I don't know, like a cookie or something, or like a little tiny thing of pop, like just as a treat, right? And she would look at the lunch and be like, that is not healthy, and then she would take it away. And like, it was one of those things where it's like, even like, that's not the kid's fault. The kid doesn't pack their own lunch, they're like 5. Like, in 5th grade, over the summer, a teacher got breast cancer and had to get the breast cut off, so they had to explain to us what happened, which was a trip. I mean, I guess it's a teaching moment, I guess. I'm trying to think if there was like anything. I mean, we had a principal who got fired for reasons that I'm not sure if I can talk about. Not because they were, like, especially bad, but because I'm worried they're too specific and it's gonna, like, dox my former elementary school. Which, to be fair, it doesn't exist anymore. It's not like you can find that much information on it. Morning Eggy, morning chat. Hello, Boothberry. But, like, I don't know how common this situation was, so I'm just like, if I say anything, like, are people gonna be able to like do enough Googling and figure this out? Which again, you're not gonna find information on it because like it's been gone for like a decade now. But yeah. But yeah, no, we did have that same teacher who would take away like kindergarten's treats. She also taught health class later. There was this one assignment that she made everybody do because she taught health class for grades 4 to 8, but she would give everybody the same assignments, which was like kind of wild because like you think about the differences between what a 4th grader can do and what somebody in grade 8 can do, and it's like, that seems like a very wide range of ages. But yeah, sometimes what would happen is that she would make an assignment and like the grade 8s wouldn't understand what they were supposed to do. So you know, if the grade 8s can't figure it out, then the grade 4s are absolutely screwed. But what a legendary substitute, Mr. King, about war vet. He was so cool. He gave white boy me cornrows on recess once. He was awesome. I should look him up. I think I'm trying to think if we had memorable substitute teachers. There was one substitute teacher who, because the thing is, okay, I went to a French school as a kid, right? So we tended to get a lot of the same substitute teachers because it was a much smaller pool of subs that could speak French. So I remember there was some substitute teachers who were just like there so often that they might as well just have been like staff of the school itself, because they would just be like, assuming that like there's one teacher who's absent every day, and it's a different teacher each day, but she's filling in for all of them, right? So again, I feel like most days one of these subs would be there, just because it was such a limited pool. There was one lady who would give candy. I remember that was one. She would always have these like hard candies. I remember sometimes, I feel like it's so weird, sometimes you get like a really, really good supply teacher and everybody liked them, and then you would just never see them again. They would just never get like sent to the school again, which is always unfortunate. I don't know. I feel like I remember my substitutes from high school more than elementary school. There was once we had like, just like weird substitute teacher. We had this one guy who substituted in our French class once, and I guess he had very, maybe not unusual, but I feel like he had like very specific ideas about like how we should be behaving in class that did not match up with like what we were actually supposed to be doing. So like basically the teacher had done the thing where they're like, here's some worksheets, have the kids do the worksheets. So a lot of people have finished their worksheets. So basically initially usually what the teacher would let us do is like once we were finished our worksheets, then if we had like a group project or something to work on, we would work on that since we were already in class anyway, right? So some people started doing that, you know, as one does. You finish your worksheet and then you like approach the members of your group and then you work on your group project. And the teacher got mad at them for like talking in class. He's like, excuse me, you should be doing your work. And they're like, oh, we finished our work. Here's our finished worksheets. And he's like, you should be talking. This is not the cafeteria. And then like some of the students like honestly started arguing with him. They're like, we are working on work, on classwork. Like look at our notes, look at what we are doing. And eventually they just like, some of the students just like gave up and left. And then like he wrote them up. He left like a note behind for the regular teacher the next day. And the regular teacher the next day was like, what happened yesterday? What happened yesterday? And because like all the students that got written up for like talking in class and being disruptive, they were all like good students, right? Like they were not students that usually were known for causing trouble. They were like, you know, students who were known for having like good behavior and high grades. And the teacher was just like, what happened yesterday? Like, I don't know. It seems that like this sub, I guess, just had the idea that like the only correct thing to do in class is to sit down and do this worksheet and not talk. And I guess if you finish the worksheet, then you just stare at the wall for the remaining like 20 minutes of class, I suppose. We had another legendary one who we all thought was like completely insane. I mean, okay, we also had another substitute teacher who was also like, he probably could have become a streamer. He probably could have become a VTuber. Like, we've had substitute teacher yappers, which honestly works out fine. It works out fine. But yeah, the job of a sub is to make sure the kids don't hurt themselves for an hour. Exactly. Like, a lot of the time it's like, it's just, yeah, just to make sure nobody does anything bad. Like, the teacher might leave behind a worksheet, but like, there's only so much you can do if the teacher's not there. Substitutes with an attitude are the worst. Well, I don't know. Maybe, again, it's not impossible to be like a good and well-liked substitute teacher, I think. But yeah, like the job is not to like teach, it's to like make sure the class doesn't fall apart. It's really more supervising than anything else. Like, I know that some students, I know there's like a lot of cases of like, people do not respect the substitute teacher. I think it kind of goes both ways though, because I've definitely been in cases where people don't respect the substitute teacher and like the teacher struggles to keep the class together because the kids are just like, what, you're not our teacher, you're just like some guy, right? But then like, there's also been cases where it's like, the substitute teacher is insane. Like, the substitute teacher, they're on a bit of a power trip here. Did I ever tell you about the elementary school story about me when the school was investigated for neglect? What? Was it like actual neglect happened, or were they just like a miscommunication there? I'm trying to think, like, there was an art teacher, I think, at my high school who got like suspended while some of us were there for like shoving a kid into a locker. Not like into a locker, but like against a locker. They were already not a very well-liked teacher, to be fair. Like they were already heavily... They were already like known for being kind of rude at the very least. I get the mitochondria powerhouse line. We all had similar textbooks from one or two companies, but that all of us know that get the teacher to talk about her divorce to avoid working means is far, far too common. I don't think that okay, I can't say that ever happened to me. I remember there was one teacher, like I said, there was like one teacher, one sub that we would get pretty often who was kind of a yapper, but I think it's also because he would tend to be put on like history classes or like drama, like theater classes, like subjects that were already kind of yappy to begin with. So yeah, he would go off on a lot of tangents if you gave him the chance. But I think that's just because he kept being put in classes that gave him the chance. Like, I don't think you go off on tangents in, like, science, you know? But yeah, I mean, there's other stories, but I think they might also be a case of too specific. Someone's gonna be able to, like, look it up. I don't know. Sometimes I think about that, like, as a VTuber. And when you become a VTuber, you start to think a lot more about, like, privacy and personal information. And it's like one of those things where it's like, okay, you don't want people to be able to, like, look you up and find too much. But on the other hand, you also are, like, a real person that, like, lives in the world. Real person that lives in the world, and you do have real experiences that happen to you. So you're like, I don't know where to... I don't know, like, I guess everyone's line is different. Wakey wakey, it's my birthday! Happy birthday! And I'm here sitting down in EGGY class. It's okay, it's your birthday, so you can have, like, a cupcake for the class. The classes gets little grocery store cupcakes that are, like, mostly icing, but that's okay. I draw the line at this is my city. Well, like, okay, I've never specifically said the name of my city, but I feel like anybody who watches me enough will be able to figure it out by context clues. But also, on the other hand, because it's a pretty big city, right? It's a pretty big city. So, like, I feel comfortable sort of mentioning it indirectly. Because EGGY City is big enough that, like, if you go to EGGY City, are you likely to run into me? Would you be able to figure out from there where to go to find me? I don't think so. So that's why I'm, like, sort of comfortable with it. I think if I lived in a smaller city, it would be different. But because it's a bigger city, I'm like, you know, what's the likelihood of somebody, like, coming to this city and finding me, right? Like, where in the world is EGGY Santiago? Yeah. Like, it's like, okay, if you get here, it's like, okay, now what? Where does she usually go? Who knows? Who knows? Like, there are places I've brought up on stream, not by name, but you would have to do more research to figure out what they are. Like, I don't know, it's just like one of those things where I'm like, I'm okay with people knowing like, having an idea of where I live, but, like, not actually knowing, like, you know, what part of the city does she live in? What places does she go out to? Like, what are you gonna do? Just, like, hit up every hot pot place in the city until you find one that I've been to, and I will probably not be there because I can only reasonably go out for hot pot so often. When I was in 2nd to 3rd grade, we had a really cool playground. It was like a railroad track surrounding it to keep the wood chips in. Oh, that's kind of cool. And we had a big tower that kids would jump off to show bravery. Of course, as one does. One day I jumped and nailed my knee directly to the edge of the railroad. I got up and all was fine. A teacher told me to go to the nurse to be sure, but I didn't, because lunch was next and it was ice cream day, so I was on lunch and my whole pant leg was soaked in blood. My teacher was like, dude, what? I went to the nurse. I had such a huge gash in my knee bone. Was, I'm gonna stop there. I can see where the story was going next. Yeah. But yeah. I mean, I guess it's like, or even when I've posted outfit shots, sometimes I've, like, blurred the backgrounds because I'm like, what if people could figure out where I was? But the thing is that, like, if I don't know, I don't think that like, I'm still a person who lives in the world is the problem, right? Like, even if I never posted anything online ever, there's still evidence that I went places, right? Like, and also too, just, like, there's things that maybe don't quite give away my location. Like, the pictures I posted yesterday on Twitter, those were taken in a Uniqlo. And I think most people could figure that out. Like, you figure it out by looking at the background, right? You're like, yeah, that looks like Uniqlo. But, like, I don't know. I feel like I live near, like, I live within, you know, going distance of a Uniqlo is, like, that doesn't pin down anything. That could be, like, any major city in North America at this point, right? This song again, yes, I have it looped. I have it looped. I have the playlist looping. So yeah, it's like one of those things where I'm like, I don't know, I guess everybody else draws the line somewhere different. Again, maybe if I was much bigger, I would think about it more. But, you know, everybody has to live somewhere. It is unfortunate. Unfortunately, we all live somewhere. This is Gen 5? I'm not sure, actually. I'm assuming this is Pokemon? I feel like I've heard it in other playlists. It's like... we all have to live in a place. In the world. Gen 5? Gen 5? Gen 5. Gen 5? I don't know Pokemon generations. I know the first one was like red and blue, and then I don't even know what gen we're on right now. Are we like 8 or something? Okay, I thought so. I played the first black version and I was like mid by it, honestly. I don't know, like I feel like, again, I don't think I've ever actually fully played a Pokemon game, like from start to finish. Like, I started Pokemon Yellow once because it was like in the eShop for the 3DS. But like Yellow was a weird one because it kind of screws you over, because I guess they were like, oh, we're gonna have a version where your first Pokemon has to be Pikachu. You don't have a choice. It has to be Pikachu. And then the first gym is like a rock gym, which electricity is not especially, doesn't work on especially well. So it's like, okay, we're gonna give you a Pokemon that is not effective at all in the first gym. So like, good luck. So I didn't get very far in that one. And I tried Sun and Moon because I really like the art style of Sun and Moon. But like, I don't know, the game was just like, yep, that's turn-based. That's turn-based gameplay. I don't have a lot of thoughts on it. I can never get over a stream when I was doing a car cam stream going to nondescript downtown. I remember seeing the town like, wait, I know the town? I live in that town. That was kind of a trip. I don't know. I mean, to be fair, there's also been times where I found out that, like, there were VTubers that lived closer to me than I thought, because it would be like, I would get like a thunderstorm warning on my phone, right? It'd be like, big storm coming. And then I would get on Twitter, and like a second later, I would see a tweet from somebody who's like, hey, they're predicting a storm, so I might have to cancel stream tonight in case the power goes out. And I'm like, suspicion. Yeah. Twice now I saw a VTuber visiting museum, like, wait, I work there. I have been there before. So is it like two VTubers I know who I won't name live in my area? Yeah, but like, is it like a museum that gets a lot of tourists? Like, is it like a thing that people come from out of town to see? Or is it like a local thing? I thought about this and that if someone talks about the weather enough, the hive mind can make it work. Well, again, it's like one of those things where it's like, I think it's impossible to never give away anything about your location unless you just like really dedicate yourself to roleplay, right? Because like, again, everybody lives somewhere. Everybody lives somewhere. You have to live somewhere. Like, that's not like a choice you get, right? Because like, again, I also think that this is something that like VTubers think about, but like real people, like I do flesh tubers think about this to the same degree? Because like, it's a different concern, right? Because I feel like with flesh, is flesh tubers the word people use? Like normal face cam streamers, like they have to deal with the fact that like they could be recognized if they go outside, right? If you're like a big face cam streamer, somebody might recognize you like at their grocery store or something. So like they will know that you live in a specific city because they're like, hey, I saw that guy when I was out and I live in this city. So it's like, I feel like the concern is more just making sure nobody gets like your home address compared to like, you know, nobody can have any idea of like my local area. Also, local weather forecast is always wrong, so maybe we're saying... yeah, it's like they said there was going to be a thunderstorm. I have them successfully fooled. You need to start just like lying about the weather when you talk about the weather on stream. You're just like, yeah, it's been super sunny lately, when it's actually just been like raining every day. You're like, oh, it's been so hot, when it's actually like been cooling down. You just like lie to throw people off. Yeah, flesh tubers are semi-derogatory. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because like I know people will still say flesh posting when they post like pictures of themselves and not like their VTuber model. But I don't know. You're right that flesh tubers does sound a little derogatory. I guess face cam streamers is like the normal word for it. Because you can't just say non-VTubers, because I don't know. I don't like when people try to make terminology by like defining something by what it's not. Like I don't think, like you gotta have a separate word for it. Yeah, if I remember correctly, it was intro. I never post IRL pics of any kind, no matter how nondescript, because like people with rainbow skills exist. That's true. Even if something like inside your house is like, oh, you can like track down like reflections or something. If you're a conventional streamer and you get really big, the potential for being spotted in public is just an inevitability at that point. Yeah, exactly. It's like, because like I guess VTubers, if you have a distinct enough voice, I guess you could be recognized by your voice, but I don't even know if that's true. I'm skeptical of that. Because, like, I have met people at conventions where it would take me longer than I would like to admit to figure out who they were. Because it turns out that, like, acoustics and microphone quality can have a huge effect on what you think someone's voice sounds like. So, like, when you hear it in real life, you might be like, okay, this sounds familiar, but, like, you're... Like, I'm also thinking, oh, this sounds familiar because I'm meeting people at a convention, right? So it's like one of those things where I'm like, I don't know if... Like, if I would just, like, met this person in public, would I recognize it? Probably not. Because I wouldn't really be prompted to think that, you know? Like, I think everybody thinks that they would be able to recognize their Oshi's voice, like, without thinking. But I don't think that's true. Yeah. I mean, buy a brand of beer that is local to an area, show it off, and it's obvious. I mean, to be fair, this also keeps happening to Canadians. Everybody knows who's Canadian because it's only a matter of time before someone, like, talks themselves into a circle and talks about, like, ketchup chips or, like, coffee crisp or, like, mentions Tim Hortons. Like, I feel like it's an inevitability because, like, you live in a place. You have grown up in a place and you live in a place. It's just gonna happen. No one can tell me we would nail Doki in the wild if we heard her voice. We wouldn't. Well, like, again, it's like, maybe if someone has like a very, very distinct voice, but... Or you pronounce that town correctly, sus. Yes. Toronto moment. Toronto. Eggy, have you met Doki? I have not. Isn't the VTuber community also skewed heavily towards Canadians? Actually, it's... Yeah, kinda. Like, it's not like everyone is Canadian, but, like, I feel like when you compare the population of the US versus Canada, I feel like the number of, American VTubers versus Canadian VTubers is, like, statistically very skewed. I'll have a primal memory moment if I hear a voice I know, but it can still take me a second. Yeah, sometimes it's like, this sounds familiar, but I don't know from where. Yeah, it's too cold up there. Stay inside. Live computer. Yeah. Well, I think it's also, too, I think the thing with VTubing for Canadians as well is that, like, you can do it while still being in Canada, I think is the thing, right? Because it's like, okay, why are all voice actors, not all, but like, why are so many voice actors American? Well, it's because, like, if you want to do voice acting, you need to live in a city that has, like, major studios, and more often than not, that tends to be in the States, right? Especially if you're working on, like, big American productions, right? So, like, I think with VTubing, it's like, you can kind of do it from everywhere, for the most part. So I think because of that, you kind of just end up with, like, you know, people who live in Canada Because there are people who live in Canada and move to like LA or something if they want to do like entertainment jobs, right? But Canada, you can VTube and stay in Canada. You can like do internet stuff and stay in Canada and it will not like negatively affect you. Even for like stuff like conventions, right? Like they don't need to get you a work visa. If you're a Canadian and you're a VTuber and you want to appear at a convention, like if you want to go in person, that's great, but like it's not like they need to issue you like a performer or like a work visa if you want to perform in the States, right? Like you can have a meet and greet. I could have a meet and greet at an American convention and I wouldn't necessarily have to like work out travel details and visas and all that, right? I realized I was a little miffed when I found out Doki and Amelia and Crony were... Almei's not Canadian. Almei's not Canadian. I can tell you that. Almei is not Canadian. Almei is not Canadian. Crony is Canadian. Almei is not. Doki, I think, is Canadian. There was somebody, I can't remember. It was somebody from Niji Sanji that I realized was Canadian because I was like, are they Canadian? And then they referred to the Montreal Canadiens as the Habs, and I'm like, okay, they're Canadian. Yeah. All the studios that are legally required to hire from the voice actors union, yeah, they kind of have to be in the States. Because, yeah, that's the other thing, too, is, like, unions are also, like, usually a national thing, right? So, like, I don't think SAG-AFTRA... Canada has its own actors union. Like, it has its own, like, version of SAG-AFTRA, but, like, SAG-AFTRA itself is, like, only in the States. Like... Isn't Canada cheaper on taxes too or something for corpos getting contractors? Well, if you're an American corporation, then like hiring people in Canada right now is a bit cheaper because of the exchange rate. Like the Canadian dollar, like the American dollar is like, I don't know, hold on, I'm gonna check what the exchange rate is like right now. Like USD to CAD. I'm gonna drink some water, hold on. So $1 Canadian is only 73 US cents. Like everything in Canada, like $1 American is $1.37 Canadian. Like that's like worth like, again, that's like a 30% difference or something. So yeah, CAD to Euro. Oh, let me see what it's absolutely worse. CAD to Euro. $1 Canadian is 0.62 euros. €1 is $1.61 Canadian. I think the only one we're stronger than right now is I think we're still stronger than the yen. Okay, yeah, we're still stronger. We're still stronger. $1 Canadian is 106 yen. And 100 yen is 94 cents. So yeah. If I want to go to Japan, I'm still good there in terms of like exchange rate. I think actually this is about the same exchange rate as it was when I was in Japan. Like I think when I was in Japan, it was somewhere around like $1 was like 108 yen. Like it was somewhere around there where it's like, okay, it's a little stronger, but like not like a huge discrepancy. What's the Canadian dollar versus Argentine peso? Let me see. Canadian dollar. $1 Canadian is 975 pesos. I don't know what that means. I don't know. I know that the peso is weird. Didn't some channels... I remember there was like some VTuber channels that like had to ban like super chats in Argentine pesos because like it was like a lower, I guess it was like kind of like a lower value currency, so like people were using it to basically buy like super cheap red supas and then like using that to be annoying. So they had to be like, unless you are in Argentina, then like you cannot use it. Isn't Argentina the one with the wild exchange rates over the last few years? Something like that. Was it? I know that like inflation has been kind of all over the place in a lot of places in the world, so. But yeah, so that's the other thing too for American companies is that if you want to hire somebody who's like cheap but not like super super far away, then like Canada is like not a bad choice. Because it's like, it's close enough that like if you need somebody to like travel in, it's not like you're paying for their ticket to fly them across the world. But like if you just need somewhere that's like cheaper than the US, then like Canada, I guess, is where you end up. But yeah. I don't know about taxes though. I don't know about taxes. I'm not really sure how that works for like international contracting and hiring and stuff. But like, I don't know. I feel like for VTubing it's also kind of weird because it's so international that like... Because sometimes I think about like, okay, if you count together everybody in Hololive Productions, like including both Hololive and HoloStars, there's like 11 countries. There's like at least 9, possibly up to 11 countries represented. Like, how do you like? You can't make something that's gonna like work for 11 countries. Like, you gotta work within the laws, I guess. But like, that's a lot of countries. That's a lot of countries. And like, again, those are just the ones we know for sure. There might be somebody who like lives somewhere that we just like don't know about yet. But yeah. I heard Soy's voice directly in front of me and it took me a good 5 seconds for my brain to switch gears and access the internal database. You're like, who is this? Who is this? Who is this? Yeah, including Indonesia, which I've been told by Indonesians is effectively Badlands with safe spots. Well, I don't know. Isn't Indonesia like one of those? It's not really. It's like a collection of other smaller countries kind of thing. Because like, obviously, like, okay, the ones we know for sure, right? We know for sure that there's Japan and Indonesia, right? Because we have branches there. We have members in the US, we have members in Canada, we have members in Australia. So that's like 5 countries, just like right there. And we haven't even touched like Europe. We haven't even touched Europe yet. Because like, you know, we also got like, we got the UK at least. We have presumably like Germany, Austria, which I know are 2 separate countries. That's 7. We got a couple HoloStars members who I believe are in the Philippines. So that's like 8 countries that we know for sure. Right? Hello, frick ad. I'm sorry for advertisements. Yeah. More conglomerate kind of thing, I think. Like umbrella more than a single entity. Okay, so it's like... Well, I guess... Imagine there's other countries like that. Like, it's called the Philippines, plural, right? Not, like, the Philippine, singular. But yeah. I could be wrong, I should say anything. I don't know, that's the impression I was under too, because I've been told that there's like a bajillion languages in Indonesia. Like, they have one official one that, like, the government uses, but, like, there's like, a lot of them. But we'd probably have to ask somebody who's Indonesian. I don't know if are there any Indonesians in the chat right now who can like confirm this? Hello, John on YouTube. Hello. But yeah, so it's like, because I remember seeing somebody once being like, why don't VTubers unionize? And it's like, do you know how difficult that would be? Like, good luck getting a union that can like span across every country on Earth. Like, it's like, good luck figuring that one out. Yeah. Should I eat a snack? I'm thinking. Yesterday I made spam musubi. And it was pretty yummy. It didn't turn out great, but like I understand my mistakes. I know where I went wrong, and I will endeavor to like not go wrong next time. I think I figured out my problems. I think my first problem was that because like to make spam musubi, right? The can itself, like the can of spam itself, is like a tool that you use, right? That was one of the things I noticed in like the tutorials, is that like because the spam is in the shape of the can, right? So you cut the spam into like slices. But then when you make your egg, if you want like a thin layer of egg, you use the can to cut out, you know, pieces of the egg that are the correct size, right? Like you use it as kind of like a cookie cutter kind of thing. And then when you're making the rice, in order to shape it right, you use the can. Like you put the rice into the can and you use it as a mold. But the thing is that like, one of the things I figured out with the rice, the first thing is that you should let the rice, like you put the rice in while it's warm. But because the can is made of metal, you have to be careful because like the rice, I feel like it needs to cool a little to be able to maintain a shape. So you kind of have to, like, what I did is that, like, I would put it in the can, and then I would, like, put cold water on the outside of the can so that the rice would cool a little bit, and then I would take it out. And then you let the rice cool a little bit more, because if you try to, like, make the shape and, like, build the musubi while the rice is still hot, then it will just, like, crumble apart. It'll just fall apart. Maybe that was just, like, maybe I would just, like, put too much water in my rice or something. But, like, you do need to, like, you need to do that. Also, the other thing I learned, too, is that, like, because a lot of recipes I saw, they recommended you use like some kind of like marinade or like seasoning sauce for your spam. And I tried to make one and it didn't come out that bad, but like the thing I learned is that like, because I saw a tutorial that like put it in the pan, but I didn't realize they put it in the pan like where they're frying the spam at the very end. Thank you, Twiggy Tree. Thank you for sprouting. I didn't realize that they put it in at like the very, very, very end. So what would happen there was that like it would be... It would get really soggy. Like, I think I put it in before the spam was properly fried, so I'll know that for next time. I'll know that for next time. Got some decent Subway coupons in the mail. Hello, lunch. Wow, I feel like I never get coupons in the mail for, like, anywhere I actually go to. Like, it'll be like, here's some for Wendy's, and I'm like, I don't think I live close enough to a Wendy's to go to Wendy's regularly, but thanks, cool, I guess. But yeah, no, I will get better at spam musubi. It was my first try. Not technically my first try, but it was like my first like genuine try where I was like actually trying very hard. I'll get it eventually. I get Burger King ones all the time and the closest location is several miles away. Yeah, I feel like I never get coupons for anything that's actually close to me. Like, I feel like I don't get McDonald's coupons or, like... Or I guess places I actually go. I don't really go to Burger King. But I don't know. I feel like I eat less. I've been eating less fast food. I've been eating less fast food. I have been losing weight and eating less fast food. Because I don't know. I think the thing with fast food is I don't think, like... The problem with fast food is not necessarily, like for me, it's not necessarily that it has a lot of calories, is that it has a lot of calories, but it's not very filling. That's my problem, I think, with fast food. Because like, I feel like usually when I've gone out to eat more recently, I feel like, it's not like I try to pick healthier options, but I feel like I try to pick options that are more filling. Like, if I'm gonna eat like 1,000 calories of something, I would like to at least feel full at the end. Whereas it's like with McDonald's or like with other fast food places, it's like you eat like 1,000 calorie meal and then like you still want more at the end. So I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna eat something heavy, I might as well eat something that's both heavy and filling, you know? Like, I don't know. Something I've realized is that like if you're going to have like a diet cheat day, it's not that hot pot and K-barbecue are diet foods, but like you can do much worse. You can do much worse on a diet cheat day than hot pot or, because I think some of it is just that like it's like a protein heavy meal, so like you're gonna be full anyway because it's mostly meat. But I think the other thing too with those is that like I feel like when I go to K-barbecue, like you eat less because you have to wait for the food to cook. I I feel like you eat less when you go to one. Because you have to like your body has to process that it's full, and because you're eating, like, because it basically forces you to slow down, right? Because you have to like wait for stuff, you have to wait for stuff to be brought to you, but you also have to wait for stuff to cook, right? Like, it's not like it gets to your table and you can instantly eat it, right? Like, you have to wait for things to cook, and then you have to wait for things to cool, like, so I think that it kind of forces you to wait, which means that like you're not like stuffing your face as quickly, you know? But yeah, I like hot pot and barbecue. And I will need a haircut soon. Sorry, I have like a hairbrush in my hand and I'm just like passing it through and I'm like, wow, okay, I'm probably gonna need to get this cut. I could go for some sushi myself. Yeah, sushi is tasty. I don't think sushi is quite as filling as like K-barbecue or hot pot though. But I think it's also because it's like served in smaller portions, so. I don't know, what do I want right now? What have I been wanting lately? I had hot pot like last week, so I don't think I need to have hot pot again. I don't know. I feel like I want Japanese food of some kind, I just don't know what. It's like, not sushi, not ramen, I think the other day I was looking for restaurants, and I was like browsing, you know, when you like browse the website for a restaurant that you're interested in to see what like the menu is. And I remember there was like this one menu. I couldn't stop laughing. I think my sense of humor is just when people make typos. Like, there is no joke as funny as you could make as just like a well-placed typo. Because there was this one restaurant I was looking at, and they had a launch set. They misspelled lunch, so it said launch, and I was just laughing about it. It's like, yeah, could I get a launch combo? And then they just like load like your food into like one of those like t-shirt guns. It's like, yeah, could I get the launch special? And they just throw it at you. Just load it into a little cannon. I want to eat some launch. Get the launch special. Go out for launch. You know? Launch. I went to an all-you-can-eat sushi place that had a typo on its menu. Oh, what was it? Again, typos on menus are the super cute too. There's a place I went to several years back that, like, on their menu they had, like, added options for, like, how do you want your eggs, and it was, like, you know, like, fried, sunny, you know, like, fried, poached, and they said scrambled, and I still think about scrambled eggs. I think they have since stopped using that menu. I think they switched to a digital menu, which is unfortunate because scrambled eggs is spelled correctly on the digital menu. It's unfortunate, but it's spelled correctly. No more scrambled eggs. Scrambled eggs will only live on in my mind. I still go there, like, it's a nice place, but also, I keep thinking about scrambled eggs. I have photographic evidence. I think I took a picture of that menu, because I'm like, scrambled egg. Would you like your egg fried, or poached, or boiled, or scrambled? Stop being cute? No. Scrambles your eggy. Yeah, it's like... I didn't order scrambled eggs with my meal. I think I got like a fried egg, but like I could have. Part of me wanted to just so I could ask for it, just be like scrambled egg. But no, I think I just got a fried egg. Yeah, got myself a tall glass of Doke. Dokadola. Oh, what are some other ones I've seen? Again, I like when things are spelled incorrectly. In a funny way. Like, that's... There's nothing funnier than something that has been spelled incorrectly. Maybe some crop corn? What? Like... I'm sure I probably have pictures somewhere of, like, things that I've seen spelled wrong. But yeah, the launch set made me laugh. Oh, it's like, come to our restaurant, eat some launch. Popcorn, but city. Same vibe as copyright avoiding signs in anime. Yeah, like the WcDonald's. Yeah. I think... or like the bajillion variations of Denny's. But there it's intentional. I think it's funnier when it's like not intentional. Like there's like an absolutely ancient tweet I remember seeing. I think I was in like grade 7 or something. Like this is old tweet. I remember seeing a screenshot of it and it was like, I can't focus. I think I have ADHD, but ADHD was spelled like 80HD. Like it's like 80 high definition. And I think about that still. ADHD. It's like in movies they have alcohol bottles, but they don't want to pay copyright, so it's like a Mac Daniels Kentucky whiskey. Well, I mean, I've seen that in games too, right? Where it's like, okay, very obvious off-brand thing. It's like, yeah, we couldn't get product placement, it's fine. But, yeah. I don't know, I think it's funnier when it's by accident. WcDonald's. WcDonald's. I don't know. I think it's funnier when it's by accident, though, than when it's, like, on purpose. Well, actually, okay. Or maybe if it, like, fits in with the vibe of the universe. Like, again, to be unsay-so again and bring up Nukitashi, pretty much, like, there's, like, a bunch of, like, real-world stuff that they just, like, to do the copyright dodging, they just basically make everything into, like, a dirty pun. They just make everything into a dirty pun, but, like, it fits because that's just, like, the setting of this. Although, I don't know, I think the problem is that the best ones are the ones that, like, are for, like, Japan-specific things. So it's like, man, this doesn't even work. This doesn't even work if you, like, try to translate it directly, because then you have to explain what things are, and then the joke stops being funny. Popcorn. Or most school stories used to be dumb as rocks. I started to shorten Jacob into Jake, but I spelled it Jack, so people call me Jack, and I'm like, that's not my name. Jack actually is pronounced Jake. I mean, at least, I mean, I can see how, like, you have the C in there, so I guess that would sort of make sense. Maybe start pronouncing, like, Jack as Jake, but, like, I don't know. Like, oh yeah, sorry, let me just, oh, my bake is sore. Oh, this stopped working. Let me give it a good smake. I love all the mob substitutions in Mob Psycho. Mob Donalds, my beloved. Mob Donalds. Yeah, Shack and back. Jacob. Well, I don't know. To be fair, like, there are some shortenings that don't make sense to me. Like, I know that Will can be a shorten of William. Where do we get Bill from? Do we have, like, a good explanation for that? Or, like, I guess how, like, Jeremiah can become Jim. But, like, Tim isn't short for, like, Teramiah. Tim is short for Timothy. But you don't have Jimothy. Like, Billiam. Or, like, what are some other ones? I mean, I guess I can sort of understand why Francis turns into Frank. Because, like, okay, I guess it's like, if you take the is off, then it just becomes, like, Frank, and then you just slap a K on there so it looks better. I guess I can see how that happens. John to Jack. Yeah, that one's a really confusing one to me. That one's especially confusing to me because I'm like, John is not a long name. Like, isn't the point of these usually to like, to shorten them down so that like they're easier to pronounce and remember? Like, John is already short. Like, I don't know how you need to simplify it more. Because, like, I don't know, I feel like there's some names, too, that, like, I have to, like, consciously remember that they're short for something. Like, I feel like I've met so many people named Chris and so few people named Christian, despite the fact that all the Chris's were probably actually full, like, their full name was probably Christian. But, like, I feel like I've seen so few guys named Christian who go by Christian. They all go by Chris. So, John, did someone call me? We're talking about your name. I'm assuming you're not Jack here. Yeah, Christopher. Oh, that's true. But, like, I don't know. How many Christophers go as Christopher? Like... I mean, Jacob isn't that much longer than Jake. Yeah, but I guess it is interesting that we call, like, a short form of Jacob is, like, Jake, and not... Cub. Charles to Chuck. Yeah, Charles isn't that short either. Like, I know exactly one guy who goes by Christopher instead of Chris. Yeah, I think I know, like, one... Well, okay, I think I've met a couple people who go by Christian. I don't know, maybe for Christian it's kind of a weird one, because it probably depends on how much you, like, identify with the name. I don't think I've ever met, like, a Christopher that goes by Christopher, though. I feel like every Christopher I've met goes by Chris. I know a Matthew who just, like, refused to let anyone call him Matt, just Matthew. Well, okay, to be fair, I feel like the vibes of Matthew and Matt are, like, completely different, right? Oh, no, Michael who demands Michael. He's a manager, though. Well, okay, I think Michael's like that, too. Like, the vibes between Matt and Matthew and the vibes between, like, Mike and Michael, like, it's two completely separate things, right? Like, if you imagine, like, a guy named Mike and, like, imagine a guy named Michael, like, those are probably gonna be, like, two separate people, right? Even though technically both of them are both Mike and Michael. Maria to Mary, that's more of a language thing. Because, like, isn't Maria just, like, the Spanish or, like, Italian version of Mary? It's like how Marie is like that in French, too. Is Cindy short for Cinderella? What is Cindy short for? Can't be Cinderella. Who would name their daughter Cinderella? Like, isn't the whole lore with Cinderella is that her name was Ella, but, like, because, like, she was, like, mistreated and, like, always wearing dirty clothes that was covered in cinders, they called her Cinderella? I thought that was the lore. I thought that was the lore. Her name was just Ella. The cinders were added later. Cindy. Cindy. Cindy's gotta be short for something. Yeah, Pam from Pamela is a good shorthand. You know what? Okay, you know what one is weird for me is, like, Barbara to Bab or Babs. Like, that one I don't think I've met anybody. I mean, I guess to be fair, Barbara is not, like, a terribly common name anymore, but, like, I've heard Barb. I don't think I've ever heard Bab. Originally diminutive of Cynthia, Lucinda, or Cinderella. Okay, Lucinda makes sense. But I don't know, to me Lucinda is such a cool name. I feel like if I was called Lucinda, I would just want to go with Lucinda. But Lucinda can also probably become Lucy, though, right? Bart from Bartholomew. Okay, Bart and Bartholomew is also, like, another thing that's, like, two completely different vibes, right? Like, you think Bart, and you think, like, Bart Simpson, right? And then you think Bartholomew, and you're like, that's like a sad Victorian orphan name. I think Bartholomew is a very strong name. I want to bring it back. Honestly, some people might. I'm curious. I'm like, what are the top baby names for this year? Top baby names 2025. Okay, first result. Let's see what we're getting. Top 100 baby girl names in the US. Number 1 is Olivia, number 2 is Emma, 3 is Amelia, 4 is Charlotte, 5 is Mia, 6 is Sophia, 7 is Isabella, 8 is Evelyn, 9 is Ava, and 10 is Sophia. Man, Ava has been going strong. I remember, like, when I was working in, like, a day camp I guess it is many years back. It was several years back. But even back then, we had, like, a lot of Avas. Because I guess just, like, 5 to 10 years ago, everyone decided that they're gonna name their kid Ava. And top 100 baby boy names in the US. Number 1, Liam. Number 2, Noah. Number 3, Oliver. Number 4, Theodore. Number 5, James. Number 6, Henry. Number 7, Mateo. Number 8, Elijah. Number 9, Lucas. Number 10, William. I see we're bringing back like the Victorian orphan names. We're bringing them back. Is Bartholomew gonna be on there? If I go to top 100. How far down do I have to go before, Is Bartholomew making a comeback yet? Okay, Bartholomew is not yet in the top 100. But, I don't know, a lot of these do seem kinda... I don't know, it's one of those things where people are like, ugh, people are giving their kids such weird names these days. And then you look at, like, the top 10 names and it's just like... James. like it's just, like, very, like, basic names, right? I've never known a Liam in all my days. Oh, I've known Liams. I've known Liams. Yeah. I've met a few Evans, but only one whose name was actually just Evander, not just Evan. I wonder if maybe, like, that's, like, another thing where, like, the original name fell out of fashion, but then, like, the like, modified version kind of came into fashion. My cousin just had her baby named Brooke not 2 days ago. Yeah, I feel like Brooke... I've known people named Brooke. I've known a few people named Brooke. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think for names, like... Because I guess, like, I'm thinking, like, Olivia, and I'm just like, okay. I guess maybe if there are, like, celebrities with that name that are popular around a time... Because, like, it's not like people name their kids after celebrities, but if you have a famous person who's famous, like, their first name is probably going to be in public consciousness a lot more, right? Like, I don't know. I remember thinking about how, when I worked at a summer camp, and it was 2016. It was 2016. And something I noticed was that there was, like, a lot of girls who were, like, between 9 and 11 years old who were named either Ella or Stella. And I was trying to think if there was, like, was there anybody important named Ella or Stella who would have been popular around, like, 2006 or 2007? Because there was, like, a lot of kids in that exact age group that had those exact names. Yeah. James makes me think of all the Harry Potter millennial nerds. You know what? That might be part of it. That's true. But, I don't know. There's no Harry on there. But, I mean, there's Henry. Henry Potter. Yeah, my sister's name is Elizabeth, but she refuses to let anyone shorten it to Liz, Beth, etc., which I appreciate. I mean, I've seen some Elizabeths go as Eliza as well. Yeah. Better than my other cousin whose legal name is Bubba, named his daughter Bubette. What? I always thought Bubba was like a nickname or like a short form for something. Yeah, I like Elizabeth as a name. I don't know, I think it's a little long, I guess? I don't know, it's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, at some point, like, I imagine, like, what we consider to be old names, like, old people names will come back into fashion, right? Gertrude has got to come back eventually. I'm even looking at, like, this girls list. Penelope is at number 28. Like, Penelope is number 28. I don't think I've ever met anybody named Penelope. Henrietta. I don't know, like, Edith is gonna come back at some point, you know? I mean, I guess maybe there's other factors, though. Like, I imagine the name Karen is gonna stay dead for, like, a good decade or so, just because of, like, the associations people have with it. Jacob, it's Hebrew and means the holder of the foot. Yeah, but, like, what is he doing with the foot once he holds it? Yeah, Judith. Yeah. Dorothy. Dorothy's gotta make a comeback sometime. Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 3 was 2004 and that has an Eva. Yeah, because I'm trying to think, I'm like, Stella and Ella specifically. I'm also looking at some of the names. I know it's also been interesting over time because there's been names that like originally were boys' names but then became girls' names over time for whatever reason. So like I think Brooke was one of those. Ashley was one. I'm like looking over the girls' names. I imagine Avery was. Well, Avery can also be a boy's name, I think. And it's probably vice versa. It feels like it probably happens. The other, like from like boy's name becomes girl's name more than the other way around, but yeah. Chris, Blake, Sean, I think Sean. I mean, I guess there are some that are just like, you know, unisex to begin with. I've known both boys and girls named Jordan. I guess maybe a lot of short forms, but like with short forms, usually it's like the long name is something more specifically gendered and it's just the short form. Like Sam can be either one, Alex can be either one. Danielle for the French. Well, the thing is with Danielle is that like when you say it out loud, Danielle can be like male or female, but like when you spell it, it becomes more obvious. Like there's a different spelling for like the girl's version of the name. I guess for middle names that are usually weirder, go by middle name sometimes. That becomes normal enough for the first name. I don't know, do people go weird with the middle names? Because, like, I feel like if you survey enough people, I feel like half, I swear, like, half of people, like, half of the English-speaking population probably has, like, a middle name that's, like, at least for women. I feel like almost every woman I've known who has a middle name, it's, like, Marie or it's Anne, or it's, like, some variation of those, right? Like, Maria or Anna or something. Like, I feel... Yeah. Do you think your real name fits you, Eggy? I know people where they're like, nah, you're not Micro Mary. I don't know. I feel weird about my non-Eggy name. I feel weird about it. I'm not gonna tell you what it is. I can tell you it is kind of an old-fashioned name. It's not quite an old lady name. Like it's not like Gertrude levels of old person, but like it's kind of it's a bit Victorian, if I might say. It's a bit Victorian. It's the kind of name that was popular in the 1800s. So, like, when I was a kid, I felt weird about it because it was the kind of name that was, like, common enough that, like, you know, Microsoft Word wouldn't mark it as a mistake. But it wasn't, like, common enough for, like it was pretty uncommon for me to find, like, you know, in souvenir shops when they'd have, like, stuff with names on it and they would get, like, a bunch of common names. It was very rare to find my name on one of those. Whereas my sister, Eggy's sister, has a very common name. She always found hers. But, it's not Victoria. I can tell you that much. It's not Victoria. It's not a name that can be really meaningfully shortened. At least shortened in a way that doesn't sound really weird. So, yeah. It's a normal spelling of it. It's a normal spelling, but it's like again, it's a name that's common enough that, like, stuff recognizes it as a name, but it's not super common. It's a name that's uncommon enough that, like, I introduce myself and people go, oh, okay. Yeah, my friend's wife is Victoria, but goes by Tori. Yeah, I feel like most people who are Victoria have, like, some shortened version of it. Yeah, the souvenir shop is the ultimate test. Well, the souvenir shop, they only have like the most common names at any given time, right? So, yeah, I am... it's kind of an old-fashioned name. I don't know. I don't dislike it as much as I used to. When I was a kid, I disliked it more just because I'm like, this is what kind of name is this? This is an old person name. I'm not from the 1800s. But now I'm just like, okay, yeah, I guess it's fine, I guess. My mom had a funny naming convention. She picked first 4 names, 2 boy, 2 girl, 2 blonde, 2 brunette. Then the name for the other hair color was used for the middle name. Interesting. My parents, I mean, it was just me and my sister, so I don't think we really got like much of a naming convention. I mean, I guess the one thing is that both me and my sister, my mom was specifically trying to find names that were easy to pronounce in both English and French, because she wanted both like the English side and the French side of my family to be able to like, you know, for me and my sister to be able to like pronounce our names correctly, you know? Thoughts on normal nouns as names? I've seen sailor recently, or apple. I think it's fine. People have been naming their kids after like objects for a long time, right? Like you have like the whole list of like floral names, right? Of people named like Rose or Lily or Daisy or something, right? Those have been common for a long time. Yeah. I think just like making a noun a name is fine. Depends like what the name is. Like it depends what the noun is. But like, yeah. It's hard to like your name as a kid. It's core to your identity, but you didn't choose it. Yeah, that's true. But I think it's more so like if your name is like not a common name. Because like my name, I don't know, it wasn't like it was like a foreign name, right? Like it wasn't like a name that was like difficult for teachers to pronounce or something. Like it was still like a name that people would recognize. But it was not one that was that... like, again, it was almost one that adults recognized, but children would not, you know? If anything, I think getting people to spell it right was more of a struggle than getting people to pronounce it right. Because it's a name that has like a few alternate spellings, so... yeah. But then I was born on the birthday of a cousin. My mom decided to just make his name my middle name instead. Interesting. I mean, I'm trying to think of what, like, I feel like both me and my sister have very, like, biblical names. But then our middle names are just, like, I think we were just named after, like, a relative or something. Yeah, it's like John. My wife's gonna have the name kids. I have zero creative ability and might pick Apple because I saw an apple in the room. Well, okay, I'm trying to think, because I remember in high school as well. When I was in high school, I went to a school that had a lot of Chinese international students. And the thing with international students is a lot of them, when they move here, they pick an English name to have something like on their records. And the thing with English names, I find, is that like a lot of the Chinese students, they're picking their English name when they are like, they're old enough to pick their own name, right? Like they're like, you know, teenagers. We were in high school. So I think a lot of the names that I saw, it was interesting because it's like, okay, this is somebody who's picking an English name for themselves entirely on vibes. Like they don't have the context, like the cultural context of like, oh, this is an old lady name, or this is like a young person name, or like this is an uncommon name, or this is a common name. Like they're just picking names, English names entirely on vibes. And I thought that was like really interesting because like you'd have people with all sorts of names. Like you'd have people named like Rainy or Sunny. You'd have people, I saw a lot of like old people names like Irene or Eleanor. Like it was just really interesting. It's like, yeah, this is what happens. It was also funny too because I feel like all the girls had these like very like creative, unusual names. And then like all the guys were just like John or like Bill or I feel like the guys they would stick with like these very, very like normal names, and then like the girls would get creative with it. But yeah, I saw a lot of like, you know, object as name kind of names. Like, yeah, coming from a non-romantic language is just hard mode too. China, good luck. Yeah, because like, I mean, to be fair, I feel like if you asked an English speaker to come up with a Chinese name, I don't think they could. But I also know that like names in Chinese, I think, are also like, if you translate them directly, a lot of them seem a little silly. Like, I know one person who has a Chinese name that, like, she told me once that, like, she's like, yeah, technically my Chinese name translates to, like, baby goose or something like that. So, like, a lot of them sound kind of silly if you translate them directly. So, I guess the idea of, like, okay, this is what you name something, like, this is, like, a normal name to have in Chinese. This is, like, a normal thing to name somebody after in Chinese is, like, very different than it is in English, right? Because, like, I don't know, I feel like in English, I guess most people don't really know what their names mean because they're all names that are from, like, languages that predate English, you know? Because, like, I don't know, I guess Japanese also kind of has that same thing where it's like, some names are like, okay, this is like a name of a person that's named after a thing, right? Like, you know, people name like Sakura or something where it's like, yep, that's a flower. That's a flower. But then, again, there's other names that are just like kanji that are mixed together, so it like has a meaning, but like it's also just acknowledged as a name. Naming my kid GTX 1080 Ti. I don't know. I remember having a thought. I'm like, what VTubers could you name a child after without it being too weird? Because, like, obviously ones with two Japanese names that are, like, in Japanese, it's like, okay, maybe you could name your kid that, but, like, you would sound like a weeb. Like, I'm thinking within, like, an English-speaking space. Or it's like, okay, like, some of them are normal names. Like, I think you could probably name your kid Amelia, and that would be pretty normal. Or Iris. People might look at the spelling and be like, unusual spelling, but like, you know, Iris is already a pretty common name in not common name, but like it's a well understood name in English, right? Ollie, yeah, I guess Olivia if you go with, so you could shorten it to Ollie. Anya, that's like a pretty normal one. Let's see. I mean, I guess there are real people named Gigi. It's short for Genevieve, usually, but, like, you can be Gigi. Same with Cecilia, that's a pretty normal one. I think Calliope would be... I don't know, Calliope would be a little out there. Like, it's not a normal name. But, like, I feel like Calliope would not actually be a terrible name to have, I think. Yeah, Callie is a nickname. But even, like, the full Calliope, I feel like Calliope is not that... Yeah, Liz is just normal. Elizabeth is normal. You know, now that I think of it, all of Justice, except for Laura, has, like, pretty common names. Like, and even Laura is, like... if you pronounce it phonetically in Japanese, it's pretty similar to how they would write the name Laura in English. Like, I feel like Justice has the most, like, normal English names out of anybody, out of, like, any lineup in Hololive. Because it's like, no, you cannot name your daughter Mokoko, but, like, I don't know. Narissa is you could name your kid Narissa, probably. Shiori might be a little weebish. I don't know, Bijou is kind of an interesting one, because Bijou is already a name in French. There are, like, I've met people named Bijou. Like, they were all French speakers, but, like, Bijou, it means jewel in French. So, like, yeah, you could name a kid Bijou. That would be kind of... Yeah, that could be normal. Remember the guy I knew in college who was trying to get his name changed to Sephiroth? Did he succeed? Yeah, I forget her Bijou's her actual name. Yeah, her name is not actually Bibu. Pippa? Yeah, well, Pippa is short for something usually, right? Is it Penelope or something? Like... Leah? Yeah, Leah is definitely a real name. Philippa. Yeah, that's what it gets shortened to Pippa, yeah. Oh, what else would be? Margot is a good name? Yeah, Margot's a good name. I guess it's usually short for Margaret, right? Or what else? I I guess Ashton is a name people have. I'm trying to think for the guys, because I'm just like, I'm thinking in Hollow Stars, I'm like, does anybody have a normal name in Hollow Stars? I don't think there's like a single normal name. Maybe Axel. I think Axel might be the only one with a normal name, because it's like, you cannot name your kid Magni. You cannot name your kid Vesper. Okay, maybe you could, but like, it would not be a normal name. You cannot name your kid Altair. Maybe? Axel, okay, maybe Axel, like a sort of normal one. You cannot name your kid Flayon. You cannot name your kid Bettel. Gavis is kind of close to Gavin. I guess that's like close-ish. Gavin Bettel. Like you cannot name your kid Shinri. At least not here. I think that's Shinri and Haka. I think are also like a case of like you could, but it would be a little weebish. Cannot name your kid Ruse. I guess Octavio is like a normal one. You could name your kid Octavio, I guess. I don't think you could name your kid Gold Bullet. I don't think that would work. I guess Gerard, maybe. He has kind of an unusual spelling, though. But, like, there are people named Gerard. Is Vesper a name? I mean, I think Vesper could be it could be a name. I don't think it's a name outside of fiction, usually, but, like, it could be. Like, if I met somebody named Vesper, I don't think I would be that, like, confused. I would be like, oh, what were your parents thinking? You know? Mari, Tia, Ceci, Molly, Alana, Mia, Vesper, Cleo. Yeah, Cleo is pretty normal. Like, I don't know, but even, I don't know, sometimes I think within Japanese too, I imagine there's probably some VTuber names. Like, I don't think you could name your kid Pekora. Because everyone's gonna be like, I see you have named her after Usada Pekora. Like, I just, there's some names that I think just wouldn't work. Just because, like, they're not... Naming my hyperactive boy Filion. Like, I guess Lily, like Shy Lily. I guess Lily is a real name. Trying to think of like anybody else. I feel like maybe something I've noticed, a shift I've noticed actually in the past like year or two, is how like I remember in 2020 it was common for everybody to be like very like first name last name about their streaming like names, right? Where it's like, I guess maybe some of it was just people copying what they saw in HoloLive, and most people in HoloLive have like first name last name. So, but I feel like in the past year or two, you get people like Doobie, who's just Doobie, who is just Doobie. It's just Doobie. Or, you know, Doki Bird, who is just Doki. Just Doki. Not even like first name Doki, last name Bird. It's like, nope, this is just Doki Bird. Like, I guess some people keep the first name, last name. Like Nimi. First name Nimi, last name Nightmare. But like, I don't know, I guess also too, I feel like it's been more common just... I feel like people who like primarily streamed on Twitch more so than people who primarily streamed on YouTube were more likely to have like single names. Like it's not like it's Iron Mouse, right? Like it's not like first name Iron, last name Mouse, right? Yeah, I guess those were their names before their corporate sojourns. That's true, that's true. Like Nyaners was Nyaners before she was Nyaners the VTuber. Merryweather, technically, yeah, I guess Merryweather is an actual name, right? I don't remember if it's a male or female name, though. Yeah, first last was bigger early on. Yeah, well, I guess because Kizuna I guess probably started that, because that's like a first name, last name thing, right? Kizuna I. Or... Again, most of HoloLive, there's a few exceptions in HoloLive, I think. Like ASCII and Roboco. Actually, how many people in HoloLive have just one name? Because I know ASCII, Roboco, I think Rika from Hollow Stars is one name, Octavio, Old Bullet. The somebody else in Hollow Stars who I think is a single name, but I can't remember who. Is there any more single name Hololive members? I'm trying to think. I don't think there's anybody in EN who has just one name. Yeah, one name I absolutely love, Frykey. I don't know how she came up with 2 syllables, easy weeb spelling, unique, rolls off the tongue. Frykey. 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 Hold on, I'm gonna eat a snack. There might be eating noises. I'm not gonna crunch though, it's not popcorn. Have these my yokan, my Japanese old people sweets, my red bean jellies. Yeah, it's very corporate at first, last, often Japanese names. Lately, alliterative names are more common, like Twitch is more like screen names. That's true. That's what I was saying though, it's like I feel like people who started on Twitch, I guess, are more likely to have like one singular name, whereas people who started on YouTube seem to be more likely to have like first name, last name. I definitely think people have been doing less Japanese names over time. That's definitely a change I've noticed, but again, I think it's just people breaking away from like Japanese VTubing tradition, which is bound to happen eventually, right? Staring me in the face, Ellie Minibot. Oh yeah, I've been getting so many clips from her on YouTube lately. I think I was talking about this the other day. I feel like every time I'm getting clips from her, whoever's clipping her is just like titling and thumbnailing these in the most like big brain. It will just be like Ellie talks about, and it will just be like this absolute like big brained topic. Like, some of them I'm just like, if there wasn't an anime girl in the thumbnail, I would think that I was gonna be like clicking into like a university lecture or something. Like, some of these titles are just like they're talking about like science and society on there. Which again, I mean, it's kind of the impression you get from the clips though. Like, I definitely know that there's some VTubers who have been, like, I guess they, like, clips of them doing one specific thing tend to do well, so they make more of those. Like, it's the fact that, like, I know Giga plays games, but, like, every clip I've seen of Giga is either from, like, the chat part before she starts the game, or it's just from, like, a general Zatsu stream. So I'm like, I know Giga games. I know Giga plays games. I have never seen Giga play a game. I've never seen her play a game. I know she does. But like I guess all the clips, yeah. Giga just has a great business mind. Well, that's like most of the clips I see her is like, honestly, I'm like, I am aware that she plays video games and she doesn't just talk about business all the time. But like all the clips of her that I keep running into, they're interesting, but they're all kind of within that same subject matter. So I'm like I know there's more than that. But like, yeah, I know that like people with clips, I definitely know that, like, it can help and hinder if you're known for, like, one kind of clip. I feel like it's like the reverse issue of, like, the people who get clipped, like, for being like, haha, VTuber says horny thing, or like, haha, VTuber says swear word, and then, like, they get known for that. I feel like it's, like, the reverse thing, where it's like, haha, VTuber says smart thing, and then it's like, oops, now all the clips have to be of smart thing. Yeah, typecasting yourself into scream streamer. I mean, I don't know. I think there's like a certain element of typecasting that has to happen. Because like, it's a brand. You know, it's a brand TM to a certain extent. So like, I guess if Giga's brand is just talking about business, and Ellie's brand is kind of just big brain topic, which I'm not even sure if that's her brand. Because I'm not sure if the channels posting that clip are hers, or if it's like somebody else posting clips of her. Yeah, I just make it too narrow. But like, I don't know, you do have to typecast yourself to a certain extent, because like, just to give I guess some people with something to grab onto, right? They're like, oh yeah, it's the streamer that does this thing, you know? You need a hook, but it needs to come naturally. Yeah, like you can't just like... You can't just wake up and decide like, okay, I'm the horny VTuber now, and then like, try to make it work. Like... Yeah, like Chibidoki Wildland. That's the only ones of hers I get recommended. Again, I've never been like a Scream person. Like you've probably noticed. I don't know if I've ever even screamed on stream. Yeah, Cleo plays math games for 12 hours, but she's not forcing it. Yeah, like it's... I guess that's the thing, especially like if you're... Especially for indies, I think. It has to kind of come naturally. But then again, I've been at this for like 4 years and I have no idea where to typecast myself as, so... Thank you, On-Tune VTuber. Thank you for spreading. Like, I don't know what my typecast is, other than nice. Like... I'm guessing that's why they typically recommend. I don't typically watch it. Content on YouTube is pushing the most popular stuff, which is why it's just not like breaking into my algo. Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's more just like with a lot of VTubers, it's like I click on one of their clips and then suddenly YouTube is like, ah, I see you are interested, and they have 1 bajillion clips. I think that's kind of what happened with Giga. I think I watched like 1 Giga clip, and then the algorithm was like, ah, I see you watched that thing the whole way through. Would you like 8 more? Would you like 8 more? Would you like more Giga clips until the algorithm forgets that there are other VTubers? But yeah, I waste so much time watching clips instead of going to sleep. Yeah. For me, it's more like I gotta put clips on in the background. Which, to be fair, I do that for streams, too. But I keep playing video games instead of going to sleep. Keeps happening. Video game. Alright, that's lunch, eggheads. Yeah, I guess it is 2:22 p.m. Honestly, I might wrap it up soon. I turned this into a zatsu. This was supposed to be gaming. I was supposed to game today. Gaming is just not happening today. Gaming will be back next week, presumably. I'm thinking maybe next week once I figured out... Because, like, next week... Again, the past few weeks have been a little, like, unreliable because it all depends on, like, other people's plans, and other people don't know their plans, which is fair. But, like... I think starting next week, things should be a bit more regular for, at least for a little bit, maybe. I might even try to make a schedule. You know, I'm in the September locking in mood. I might even try to make a schedule. I might make a schedule. I might even try to stick to it. Write in stuff into the schedule and be like, schedule. I don't know, I'm trying to lock in a bit more. Last night I was trying to like conceptualize. I'm like, okay, so I haven't done many hand cam streams or like crafting streams for a while because like I was like trying to conceptualize a setup that could work for it. And I'm like, okay, I have this little side table, but like I'm not sure if it's big enough to do anything with. I have a little side table and I'm like, okay, maybe if I took all this stuff, I cleared that off, and then I could probably clip my mic to the side of it because it's small enough. But I'm also just like, would the mic be in the shot is the question. So yeah, I was trying to conceptualize that last night. Maybe I'll go back to doing crafting streams at some point once I can figure that out. It's difficult. It's difficult. It was like, I don't know, I have some stuff I want to do. Like, I have, like, knitting projects, but I also have, like, last year for my birthday, somebody had given me this, You know those like 3D puzzle, what is it called, like Row Life or something? Like those like 3D puzzle things? They given me one, and I want to do it on stream, but like I don't have a place to do it. I don't have anywhere that like has enough space for me to actually set it up. That's why I was like, maybe if I did it on that table, but I don't know if it's big enough. Hi, Egg and Plants. Hello, Slacking Spiny. I'm kind of wrapping it up, but hello. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Ooh. 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 No, I'm late. No, I might finish this off sooner than I think, because I'm also thinking too, I'm like experiencing the consequences of drinking water. But I'm also like, this was supposed to be just a short stream, so I'm like, this is like 2.5 hours. This seems like a good place to leave it off. Especially if I'm like, because I don't want to like take a break and then come back and then stream for like 5 more minutes, you know? And that doesn't make sense to do. I'm just like, you know what, if it's this late in the stream, I might as well just end it off. Instead of just like taking a break and coming back. It might make more sense to do that. That's okay. I don't think I'm gonna be on tomorrow, or I might... There's a few things, like I said, next week is not yet figured out. Everything from like between like now and Tuesday is like a solid maybe. So, I am going to be not on tomorrow, and I'm not going to be on Saturday, which I'm usually not on Saturday anyway, so nothing changes there. Sunday, probably not. Monday, I'm not sure. I might be doing something on Labor Day because I am not sure. Again, I'm like waiting on other people to find out. It's one of those things I'm like, I'm waiting. Schrodinger's week. So it's possible that Mahjong Monday might get moved to Tuesday. But I don't know yet. It's not for sure yet. It might be on Monday, it might be on Tuesday. After that, I think everything else should be relatively normal. Everything normal. Now I want to make a list of how I found a VTuber and why I decided to say it would be illustrative. It would be useful information. You could even input it into my EGGY survey, which Nightbot should be throwing at you if you've been sitting in chat for long enough. Mahjong Tuesday, I don't know, Tajong Tuesday, Tenpai Tuesday. So yeah, that will be the week next week. But yeah, I am also, again, solid maybe, but solid probably. I'm going to be on... Oh god, what is his Twitch name? Is this his Twitch name? Yes, I got it right. Okay. I'm going to be on Wise's birthday stream, which is... What's today? Thursday? Wednesday? It's on Friday. No, it's tomorrow. It's tomorrow. Today's Thursday. What am I talking about? Today is Thursday. Good night, going to sleep. Have a good sleeping. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sticking around in this daytime school time. But yeah, I think I will be on there tomorrow. I'm not sure. I said solid maybe because I wasn't sure, and then like they kept planning, and I'm like, I'm in the group chat, so I'm assuming I'm in this. I think. So yeah, I guess I'll cross that bridge when I get there. I might be there. I'll let you know. So running theme, solid maybe. Solid maybe has been like the theme of like the entirety of streaming this summer for me. Will I do this? Solid maybe. But yes, next week Zhang will happen at some point. I can't guarantee it will be on Monday, but I will guarantee it will happen eventually. I am trying to get a new cover out at some point before the end of next month. It's mostly ready. I think it's just a matter of like I need to prepare the video. But that will come out whenever it comes out. But that's all I got to announce. Let me see if I can find someone to raid. Who's on? Beba's on, Zia's on, but we raided Zia yesterday. Oh, okay, Purity Valentine is on. That is somebody I have not raided in a very long time. What is she doing? She's doing art. Yeah, we can raid her. I haven't raided her in a very long time. Hold on, I'm still stuck in the ad zone. I'm stuck in the ad zone for like another 15 seconds. Like, I'm just like checking to make sure she's like still in the middle of stuff and not. I mean, she's only been going for like an hour and a half, so I don't think she's gonna end like immediately. But let's find out. Okay. She's drawing. Okay, yeah, we can raid. We can raid. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, let's raid. Let's raid. What are we gonna say? School time raid, I guess. Yeah, school time raid. Might as well. There we go. School time raid. School time raid. There we go. Yeah, see you around. Maybe egg. Solid maybe. I will be back. I can't give you a day, but I will be back. It will happen. It will happen. It is going to happen. But yes, until then, thank you for being here. Happy September, since I might not see you until September. So yeah, see you next month. I'm like doing the thing where people say see you next year on like January 31st. Not January 31st, December 31st. Stay hydrated. Yeah, I'll see you next month. I'll see you next month. Thank you. Bye-bye. And look at my cool end card. Like